I'm trying to get a little bit caught up and a little bit ahead, maybe. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is what I promised, talking about current events. I talked to you about how to get value. Your value is in your feelings, and only you get to choose what you're going to feel. But that has such an impact on everything in your life, and you don't even think about it. For instance, you take this immigration problem that we have in the United States today. We have people pouring across our southern border, and half of the American people are trying to make you feel guilty because these people have to leave their home. There's no reason that you should feel guilty because they chose to do something that was not right. You are not responsible for what somebody else does. They have chosen to take these journeys and to misuse their children and to create problems for everybody. It's not our problem. Now, people would say, where's your compassion? My compassion is that if you really wanted to have a better life, then you would stand up and defend your neighbors and your families, and you would take the despots that you have in office over you out. It's not my responsibility to fight your wars. It's not my responsibility to clean up after you. Nor do I have to give you what I've worked hard for so that you can enjoy it without having to do anything for it. All that would happen is I lose everything. You don't really ever get to enjoy it because you never put anything into it, so you don't understand its value to begin with. So we have people out there that feel like they're on a moral high ground, that they can tell everybody they should give away everything they have, that they should be punished because other people make bad decisions. Well, it doesn't work that way. It's not the truth. I talk to you about what God wants for you. God gave you this land. He gave you everything. He said, don't throw it away. Don't give it to nobody as a sacrifice. Give it to them to help them. If they're willing to stay at their home and fight those governments that they put over them and make them quit misusing the people, then help them. But until they do, you don't do anything. If you give something to somebody, make sure they're using it the way it was intended. If we send money or aid to another country, how many times does it really meet the people? How many times does it reach the person that we wanted it to actually go to? Not very many. Most of the times, the government or the corrupt officials steal it and sell it and make money off of it. And the person that we wanted to help never gets helped at all. But you don't hear about that because that would undermine the message that the right or the left wants to give you. The people that say they're a liberal that do not care really if somebody's being helped or not. They only care that it costs you. That's what they care about. That it weakens you. Because if they can weaken you, they can control your country. If they can control your country, then they can dictate to you that there is no God. They can dictate to you that only what they say is what's really going to matter. It's a shame. And you can buy it or you can stay quiet and let it happen. That's what happened in Venezuela. People kept quiet, they let it happen. That's what's happening in this country. The American public were fed this crap that if they were compassionate people, they would allow this. And the reality of it is, it's not compassion, it's sacrifice. It's not what God wanted, it's what you choose. and you choose to throw away the gifts God gave you instead of making them worth more. To make them worth more, send these people home. Make them defend their own land. Make them stand up for their own rights. Then we can help them. But until they do, to give Mars is not going to work because they'll never appreciate them. They won't know what they are, and they don't care about them. All you're going to do is undermine your own world, your own society. That's what the left really wants. They want to weaken and stay in power, because if they can weaken you, they can stay in power. Now, I talk to you about God, and I love God. And I'm telling you what God said, and what God is showing me is what I'm trying to show you. You can decide. You can have had enough. But until you stand up and speak and stop and vote and get your neighbors to understand why you don't agree with what's going on, then it'll continue. You know, you say you believe, but saying that is easy. Do something. Do something to show that you believe. What's going to happen are a lot of people, and this is what Jesus told you, a lot of people are going to come and say, Lord, Lord. And he's going to say, I didn't know you. You wouldn't stand up for what I said. You won't defend yourself. Why would I want to be your friend? You won't defend me. You won't defend my children. You won't defend yourself. Is that really what you want? Because that's what's going to happen. That's what you are empowering. You, the people next to you, all of the people who claim God and yet do not do what he gave you to do. He gave you this life. He wants you to make it better. He wants you to improve the quality of it, to make it worth more, and you throw it away. How much more do you think he's going to give? How many more times is he going to run around cleaning up your mess? I don't think he will. And I think what you get, you deserve. See, I love God. I am a child of God. I understand, and I don't have compassion for those who don't love God, who don't love their brothers, who don't care, who think that they can hide, that they don't have to do nothing. Sorry. I see the gifts God gave you. What you do with them is what you should get. And if you trash them and throw them away and sacrifice them, then you deserve to get nothing. I love you. I do want you to do better. I want you to choose the right things. The right things are not hard. They're really not. All you got to do is look. Is doing what I do going to help somebody and make it better? Or is doing what I do going to divide them and separate them and make it impossible for them to make life better? Take that thought and then think of this. Those people that are stopped at the border, how can you really help them? They let their country go. They let their families go. They are not willing to stand up and defend themselves. They won't defend you. They won't stand up for your beliefs. They won't even stand up for their own. Don't bring them in. Make them stand up and become all that God wanted them to be. He gave them the land. He said, this is yours. If you throw it away, you waste it. Okay. The reason we have countries is so that we have smaller groups of people that can get together and share their values. But if their values lead to nothing, and if they have no value, they don't understand where their values come from or why they're there, then they receive nothing.
I'll give a
So
half-chance to the Trump administration
each
for
country
investigating
has
funding
many
for
gifts.
serious white helmets. This is the
Some
incredibly
countries are
courageous state
gifted in
group
one thing
that
and not
marches
gifted
to the
in
scene
another.
and treats bombing victims.
But they're so
It
gifted
gives them
in one
medical
thing that they
care.
can
It's
trade for
a
the
great
other.
gesture.
It
But
still
unfortunately,
requires
Paul, it is treating the sick
a
and the dying
standing
as
for
Zionist
your
mass
value
misogynist.
and sharing with other people. If what you do divides them and weakens them and doesn't allow them to be able to stand up for themselves, then you are doing evil. And sacrifice is evil. I want you to understand because I want to see you overcome. But it's not up to me. Don't look to me or to God and think, well, you got to forgive me. No, we don't. You have to forgive yourself by doing what's right. When you do that, then you'll find forgiveness. That's what Jesus told you. When you live as he told you to, when you show your faith and your strength and your guidance and your love, then you can forgive yourself. But until then, nobody else can forgive you. You are as guilty as you make yourself. And it's not me or anyone else that can ever forgive you. Not the church, no groups. It's not up to men. It's up to you. You're the one who gets the feelings that you have, and only you can change them. So it's up to you. Now, think of something as simple as, well, it's really not simple. They call it complex for this immigration crisis. But look what's happening. Look what's happened in countries that have allowed it. Look at Germany. Look at Norway. Look at Switzerland, Sweden. Gangs of people going around raping and robbing and killing, and you were saying it's okay? Where is your mind at? I want you to stand up before that becomes current here. And it will become current here if you continue not standing up for yourself. How do you stand up for yourself? Campaign. Campaign for your political people. Campaign for the political people that will stand up and stop this. And then hold them accountable. If they don't, impeach them. If you have a governor or a congressman or a senator that is not standing up for the American people, then you need to charge him. And you need to drag his ass in court and impeach him. They're supposed to represent you, but they're only going to represent you if you get enough of your constituents to get together and tell them that, hey, pay attention. Now, I don't know if that means we got to go to uh, where we got to go to get the authority to raise this as an electoral or as a voting issue, but we need to do it. I love you. Now, tomorrow I hope to deal with transgenderism. It's a shame I have to deal with this at all. But like immigration, there are so many lies and so much that people allow. It's so ridiculous. But as I told you this morning, it's Father's Day. Look at the Father's Day card you've given to God. I hope you feel as bad as you made him feel. See ya. Bye.